Just a quick look at how we are documenting our FileMaker scripts. The same technique we're sort of using in custom functions as well. We'll do a little slide or a video on that later, but just to go through this real quick. This is based on JS doc and API doc and Java doc, kind of very similar methodologies for documenting code. Basically, the doc block starts in this case with /##. A lot of other systems use ***, but or ***, but we're kind of forced to use pound in our FileMaker script, so that's what we'll use. And it ends with a single #/. Then on lines, on individual comment lines, you put these tags. So here's a parameter, here's a return success object, return error object, and here's a couple more tags. Let's go through them individually. So we're talking about sending in some JSON here. So we've got a block of JSON which will include a party and an account name. The party itself is another block of JSON. So we've just documented a few of the objects here. But initially we have this first tag is @param, and the second word in this line is the type. So we see we're getting an object as the parameter, and we've just given it a name, user data. On the next line, we're documenting the account name by saying it is a nested property of user data, and it's a string. And then we're documenting party by saying it is a nested property, userdata.party of user data, and we've got a description here. And then we've got also the string of the ID. So that's party userdata party.id, and that is a string. So these are the parameters that we're documenting here. Of course, we could document more if we wanted to, and in many cases you might want to. And then, so this is what happens. This is what gets returned when the script works correctly. So return success works very much the same as the parameter. And the one difference here, an interesting thing here, is we're using this ... notation to indicate that there are other properties available or that might be passed back along with the success. So here we see that we're going to get a user data object back, and it will have an ID in it for sure. And that ID will be a string, and there might be other properties. And then for the error, we're doing the same thing. A return error will denote that it is a... Oops, I got a small typo there. Let's fix that. Return error, it's an object, and then it has a code property, and then it might have other properties as well. There's a couple more tags we're using here. Basically, just about any tag that's available at JS doc we could consider using here, but these are the ones that we're using so far. Public to denote that this is a public API or one that should be called. We could mark it as private, which means that you wouldn't be calling the script except from other scripts. And then I've got the author here and version 1, and just a little comment. This is the initial version. So that's how we're documenting things. Oh, one more thing that's kind of interesting. So we want to be able to show examples of what the data looks like coming in, so what the parameter would look like. And so we're using an insert text script step that's been commented out to show an example JSON. And the reason we're using that is because it's this insert text calculation or script step will let you put any text in here. So it works great for putting in a complex JSON object. So here we're passing in the account name. It's an email address actually in this case, and the party and the ID of the party, and you can see what it looks like. And then we're doing the same thing for our success example. So here is what the example will look like when it comes back, or here's what the data will look like when it comes back after a successful creation of a user in our system. We'll get back the account name and the party with a bunch of other data filled out having to do with the linked party that we passed in. And same thing for the error, so you can see what the error looks like. So these examples are nice. We comment them out just so they don't actually populate anything, but it wouldn't matter necessarily if you uncommented them. But we think this is a nice way of doing the examples. Otherwise, pasting these large blocks into comments is tough. It's hard to do right, and it takes up a lot of space. So this way we think we get a nice middle ground where you can quickly see what the example is supposed to look like, and you can blow them up and see a big example. So that's it. That is how we are commenting scripts in Karbon. Thanks.